So there's a story out about how Donald Trump wants to fire someone else. This time it's one of his generals. It's Army General John Nicholson. Now, normally people are going to shake their heads and go, "Oh, another firing. Jesus Christ, when is this going to end?" And yes, it is fair to say that he thinks that the world is still on the show Apprentice and that he is contractually bound to fire one person a week. Having said all that, in this case, I don't agree with necessarily the firing, and I don't agree with his reasons, but I think his overall concern is correct. And so I want to give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here, because look, no matter how much I think he's incompetent, I disagree with him on other issues. Every issue you have to look at fairly and see if he's doing the right thing or the wrong thing. And if he's doing the right thing, great, give him credit for it. So he was having a meeting with his Defense Secretary James Mattis, Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman Joseph Dunford, and in the middle of the meeting, he asked whether he should fire the general leading Afghanistan. That's Nicholson. First thing he said is, "We aren't winning." Now you can say that's overly simplistic, sure, but overall, it's true. I mean, this is what his supporters wanted, right? They knew that he doesn't know the inner details of politics. They probably had no idea how incompetent he is, but that's okay. But you want him to have a gut sense. If you're his supporter and you say things like, "Well, I trust his gut," right? And in this case, he looks at Afghanistan and he says, "We aren't winning." That's true. His gut is that it's a mess. That's true. So give him credit for that. And you might think, boy, that's a really low bar. But no, most establishment politicians, both Republicans and Democrats, would have gone in there and be like, "Okay, the generals tell me it's great. Let's stay another 10 years and see what happens." So there is a difference between politicians, and in this case, I think he's closer to being correct. Now, details on the meeting. The meeting grew stormy, according to Reuters, when Trump said Defense Secretary James Mattis and Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman Joseph Dunford and Marine General should consider firing Army General John Nicholson, commander of the US forces in Afghanistan, for not winning the war. Now, there we go again, Trump being a simpleton. It's not that we're not winning in Afghanistan because we have a bad general, and if we had a good general, we would somehow win. It's way more complicated than that. Do you know that this was a poll taken many years ago, actually? They asked Afghanis about 9/11, and over 90% of them had no idea what that was. They don't even know why we're fighting them. No, if they knew it at all, they've forgotten it, but most of them didn't know it in the first place. And when that was an amazing poll we covered back in the day on the Young Turks. And there were some quotes that came along with it. And it'd be like villagers in the middle of a valley in the middle of Afghanistan. They'd be like, "Look, every once in a while the Russians come and we fight them. Then the Americans came and we fight them. We just assume that people are coming to take our land." So the Afghans are fighting us because we're there. They're not gonna get up out of that valley. The random dudes, if you're gonna go after Al-Qaeda, but Al-Qaeda hasn't been in Afghanistan for decades now. We chased them out right in the beginning. We actually had them cornered. We could have killed bin Laden a long time ago. Rumsfeld didn't send in troops. You should read about that. It's an old story from New York Times back in 2004. It's an amazing story. But the bottom line is, now we're fighting guys who don't even know why we're fighting them, and we don't know why we're fighting them. Why are we still in Afghanistan? Is it the Taliban? Is the Taliban still connected to Al-Qaeda and ISIS? Are you sure about that? What the hell are we doing there? That's the right question to ask. So his gut's headed in the right direction. His head, as usual, is drifting out there somewhere. "Oh, we're not winning. We should be a better general." What's a better general gonna do? Send more troops? That didn't work. Send less troops? That didn't work. Here's the correct path. Get out. We're causing a bigger mess by staying in. Anyway, one more quote on this. Reuters says, officials said that Trump argued that the United States should demand a share of Afghanistan's estimated $1 trillion in mineral wealth in exchange for its assistance to the Afghan government. This is look, I'm trying to give the guy credit. And if he gets us out of Afghanistan, I don't care how wrong his reasoning was. Great, I'll take it and I'll give him all the credit in the world on it. But no, the right answer is not, now let's steal the natural resources of Afghanistan to pay for the war that we created that I know is a mess and that we're not winning. How is that helping Afghanistan? How is it helping us? But this guy, he really meant it when he said, "Oh, when we went into Iraq, we should have just taken their oil." Are you insane? then they're going to say, oh, you didn't come to liberate us, which was the excuse Bush used. You came to rob us. And then the whole country would fight us. And that war would have been even worse than it was as it was. And it was already a debacle and a disaster. So now his brilliant idea for how to make Afghanistan better is, why don't we just take their minerals, just take it from them? They should pay us for us invading them. Oh, yeah. Just somebody get in there. It's like, and be like, oh, Mr. President, you're so right. I can't believe they're not just letting us take their natural resources when it's their own population stores. I can't believe that's outrageous. Oh, I got an idea for you, Mr. President. Let's just leave. That'll show them. It might work. He's kind of headed in that direction. Just nudge him that way. It is so frustrating how little he knows. Anyway, firing the general in this case isn't going to solve it. But if it leads to us leaving, fantastic. I can't wait to give him credit on that. If he'll just accidentally go in the right direction. Podcast The Young Turks anytime you want. tytnetwork.com/join.
I think it's weird.
No, it's not weird. In fact, you'll think,
I'm like a smart person.
Do it now. tytnetwork.com/join.